Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second version of the Take That for Data audio release. This week, I'm talking about blog post number 35 on takethatfordata.wordpress.com, which talks about a post that actually released on Marketo's blog a couple of weeks ago at the end of February, talking about the latest Facebook algorithm. So for those unfamiliar, Facebook, of course, is run by an algorithm. And previously, Facebook ran on what was called EdgeRank, which was just looking at three things: the time the post came out, your affinity or your relationship with the person that posted it, and then the type of content. And for the most part, that was about it. Now, Facebook has thousands, I believe hundreds of thousands of signals that they use to put content in your newsfeed. Well, as of January, the news feed is actually going to focus on your relationship to not only the users that post, but the users that comment, and it will prioritize posts that have a lot of conversation from your friends and connections. Of course, for those that are doing marketing, that means if you have a Facebook page post, it may not show up in the news feed because that person would have to not only have an affinity for your page, but their friends would have to have a similar affinity. Naturally, the industry was up in arms because they were thinking that Facebook is demoting content from pages, and that's not really accurate. Facebook is prioritizing some posts, which of course there's only so many posts a user is going to see in their news feed that would squeeze out content from pages, which is a good thing because that means that there are some ways that Facebook pages can still be in the news feed, at the top of news feeds, no matter what. And it's just really a matter of being engaging. So I outlined in the post 3 ways to get your content seen by folks. And one clarification that I actually got from Jim Lin at Ketchum, which made a ton of sense to me, is technically speaking, there is not a way for your pages post to get in news feeds. But my assertion is that if you use that post through others, you're still getting the same effect, which is people seeing your content. And ultimately, that's the goal, is that you want people to see your content. It doesn't matter if it came from you. And in fact, I argue that it's actually better coming from others. So the 3 steps I outlined is 1, start by making your content more engaging. You can no longer just say, hey, we have this thing, check it out. There has to be a reason for someone to engage with the post. So have a strong call to action, have nice visuals. Like, you're going to have to spend the time and energy to create content that people are going to engage with. Second, once your content's already engaging, then you have to find ways to make it shareable. So use a visual that someone wants to put on their own page, use humor, use drama. You want to find different ways to get your audience to not only like the post, but also share it with others, because that's when it shows up in the news feed. One way to really think about that, though, is you need to know what your audience likes and what your audience shares. So do some research first. It's not always going to be pop culture. It's not always going to be drama. It's not always going to be humor. Moms and recipes. Sometimes they're just trying to be helpful to their followers. So really find out what gets your audience going, and from there you can make your content more shareable. And then lastly, turn your customers into advocates. You want to find ways not only for them to want to share your post, but you want them to advocate for your post. You want them to write their own content that uses your page or uses your page's content, because that's when you have their friends looking at that post and understanding that that is a post that person finds value in, and so they should think about finding value in it as well. So those were my 3 takeaways. At the end of the day, this is a game of social, and social media has always been about the people. So don't try to beat the algorithm. Try to use the algorithm to your advantage. and you're going to have a lot of success. And from a data perspective, it's really going to be on us as data analysts to really give our content developers the information they need and the data they need to really make some good points. And that's going to start with segmentation. That's going to be about analysis of social content. That's going to be about content analysis, and a lot of things that actually I'm going to write about now that I'm thinking about this in another post, how to kind of segment audiences, how to create the types of audience groups that will help your content developers do a really great job. But for now, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and feel free to comment if you have any thoughts on the audio podcast. Next week, I'm going to be talking about getting to your number ones, and I'll probably elaborate on my talk with Jim Lin in that post. But until then, take that for data.